Hi, welcome to the Listen Up Girl podcast, your daily LGBTQ plus news podcast. I am Zach Brandis Friedman, and today is Sunday, May 31st. It is the last day of May, and tomorrow we officially kick off Pride Month. There's a lot to get into today, so let's go. O'Shea Sibley murder trial. So we start in Brooklyn, where the hate crime murder trial of Dmitry Popovov, the man accused of fatally stabbing gay dancer O'Shea Sibley in 2023, is continuing, and it's getting intense. Popovoy took the witness stand this week, testifying that he acted in self-defense, and it was never his intention to hurt anyone. He denied hurling anti-gay and racist slurs at Sibley and his friends, slurs that prosecutors say are central to hate crime charge. Here's what we know. Sibley, a 28-year-old professional dancer who had trained with Alvin Ailey and performed at Lincoln Center, stopped at a Brooklyn gas station with friends after a day at the beach. They were dancing to Beyonce. Video captured the confrontation. Prosecutors say Popovoy and his group came out of a nearby smoke shop and immediately began shouting racist and homophobic slurs. A confrontation escalated, and Popovoy stabbed Sibley in the chest, puncturing his heart. Popovoy, who was 17 at the time and is now 20, is being tried as an adult. He faces second-degree murder as a hate crime. If convicted, he would spend the rest of his life in prison. To convict on a hate crime, prosecutors must convince the jury that he targeted Sibley, at least in part because of his race or sexual orientation. The defense is leaning hard on self-defense narrative, but the video evidence tells a very different story. Sibley was living his best life that night. He deserved to get home. The trials continued this week, and we are watching it closely. I think he deserves to spend life in prison. It was clearly a hate crime. Our next story is Italy's Catholic Scouts open doors to LGBTQ plus leaders. Now to some genuinely surprising news out of Italy, and I say surprising because it involves the Catholic Church, and it is not a phrase I usually associate with progress. Italy's largest Catholic Scouting Association, AGESCI, the Association of Italian Catholic Guides and Scouts, has officially updated its policies to allow LGBTQ plus people to serve in educational leadership roles for the first time in the organization's 50-year history. The group's governing council approved a document this week stating that, I am paraphrasing their words, sexual orientation and gender identity cannot be grounds for exclusion from serving as a leader. AGESCI has approximately 180,000 members across Italy. LGBTQ plus people were previously permitted to participate in activities, but were explicitly banned from leading. This change follows 3 years of internal debate and a consultation process launched in 2022 that included gathering testimonies directly from LGBTQ plus members about their experience with exclusion. What's significant here is the broader context. The Vatican, under Pope Leo, has been making incremental movements towards acknowledging the suffering of LGBTQ plus Catholics. And this change from the Scouts comes just weeks after the Vatican's own 2026 report acknowledged for the first time, quote, pain and profound suffering experienced by LGBTQ Catholics, including around conversion therapy. Is this everything? No. Italy still doesn't have marriage equality. There is still a long road, but when the largest Catholic youth organization in one of the most Catholic countries in the world says that queer people can lead its children, that's a crack in a very old wall, and cracks definitely matter. Next, Europe's LGBTQ plus rainbow map, Spain rises to number 1. So we talked about this last week, but let's talk about maps. This kind actually matters to us. ILGA Europe has released its 2026 Rainbow Map and the annual ranking of LGBTQ plus legal protections and policies across Europe. And this year, there's been a major shakeup on the top. Spain has claimed the number 1 spot for the most LGBTQ plus affirming laws and policy in all of Europe, displacing Malta, which held the top position for a decade. ILGA credited Spain's rise to a combination of achievements, fully implemented depathologisation of trans identities in healthcare, new legal protections, a new national LGBTQ plus strategy, and a new independent equal treatment authority. And critically, Spain has actively pushed back from the far-right attempts to dismantle these protections rather than giving ground. On the Trans-Pacific ranking, the separate trans right index from Trans Europe, Iceland came out on top, but scoring 30 out of 32 indicators. And notably, the UK only scored 13.5 out of 32, landing in the middle of the pack. A striking reflection of how anti-trans rhetoric has translated into actual policy setbacks. The bottom of the list, there's no surprise, Russia scoring 0. The report's overall message was bittersweet. Legal shifts are happening, but the authors note that the most of them are coming through activist pressure and court rulings, not from governments proactively choosing to lead. As ILGA put it, political courage is a choice, and Spain is making it. The question is who's going to follow Spain? So I love that Spain is there. And Malta's still an amazing place. I mean, there's number 2. So, like, I've never been to Malta. I'd love to go. It's on my list. And since it's still ranking number 2, I'll have to make that happen. Next, Barry Manilow coming out earlier would have killed my career. And finally, we head into Pride Month. We have a moment of reflection from a legend. Barry Manilow, who is 82 years old, one of the best-selling recording artists in history, sat down with the LA Times this week and opened up about his journey as a gay man in the music industry. Manilow officially came out in 2017, revealing he had quietly married his longtime partner, Gary Keith, who is also his manager, in 2014. They've been together for over 47 years. In this new interview, he has been candid about why he stayed closeted for so long. In the 70s and 80s, he said coming out would have destroyed his career. He referenced watching what happened to Elton John after coming out as bisexual and the way it damaged John's standing for a stretch. And he said he simply wasn't willing to risk it. What strikes me about this story is right now is the timing. Barry Manilow survived lung cancer last year, had surgery, and he is about to release a new album called What a Time, out on June 5th. He's 82 years old, and he has been with the same man for nearly 5 decades, and he is still here making music and telling the truth. He said of his coming out, nobody gave me a whatever. The fans embraced it. It's not a non-event, which of course is both beautiful and a little heartbreaking because he spent decades afraid of the reaction that never came. As we head into June, this story feels important, not just as Barry Manilow, but about all the people who are still carrying the weight right now in 2026, wondering what would happen if they would have been themselves earlier. The answer so often is probably love. Happy Almost Pride, everybody. This is your LGBTQ plus news for Sunday, May 31st on Listen Up Girl, your daily LGBTQ news podcast. Tomorrow's June 1st. Pride Month is officially here, and we will be covering it every single day. Make sure you to subscribe wherever you listen and follow us on Instagram and YouTube so you never miss an episode. I will see you tomorrow with more LGBTQ plus news. Thanks for listening.